Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, where we take the most boring corporate documents and for some reason make them actually interesting. Today we're diving into Olympic Steel Incorporated's latest report, and let me tell you, they're showing us how they did. If you're looking for the latest on Olympic Steel Incorporated's money matters and what it means for their business, you've come to the right place. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're constantly decoding these filings to give you the inside scoop. Also join our Discord community, link down in the description below for even more insider chat. Alright, so this is a current report filed on the 28th of October 2025. Think of it like a quick update from the company to let everyone know what's going on, especially when it comes to their financial performance. It's not a full deep dive like a yearly or quarterly report, but it's usually packed with important recent news. The main event here is that on the 28th of October 2025, Olympic Street Eel Incorporated released a press release. This press release is all about how they did financially during the third quarter, which ended on the 30th of September 2025. Now, a press release is typically their way of sharing good or bad news with the public and investors. So, we're going to focus on what is inside that press release because that is where the real numbers and the story are. This press release is basically their official scorecard for the last 3 months. It tells us how much money they made, how much it cost them to make it, if they made a profit, and all those other crucial little details that let us know if this company is growing or shrinking. They're not required to give us the full gory financial details right here in this actual filing, but they are telling us that they put out a press release with those details, and that press release is attached as an exhibit. So we are going to look at the story that press release tells. The crucial part of this filing is that it is referencing a press release that contains their actual financial results. This is where the juicy details are. Companies like Olympic Steel Incorporated use these reports to communicate significant events. In this case, it is all about their performance in the third quarter of 2025. We want to know if they are making more money, is their business growing, are they facing challenges? Now let's break down what this means for Olympic Steel Incorporated. When a company reports its results, it's like a health check. Are they financially fit? Are they heading in the right direction? We look at things like revenue, which is the total money they brought in from sales, and their net income, which is what is left after all their expenses are paid. These are the key indicators of how well the business is actually doing. The stock for Olympic Steel Incorporated trades under the ticker symbol ZEUS on the Nasdaq Stock Market LLC. This tells us that investors are actively buying and selling shares of the company. The price of this stock and how it moves is often a reflection of how the market perceives the company's performance and future prospects. If their financial results are strong, you'd expect the stock price to react positively. While this specific 8K filing doesn't contain the detailed tables themselves, it directs us to Exhibit 99.1, which is that press release. That is where the number crunching truly happens. Companies often highlight their earnings. Per share or EP is a very important metric that shows how much profit is allocated to each outstanding share of common stock. A rising EPs is generally a very good sign for investors. We also look for changes in revenue year over year to see if the company is expanding its reach and its sales volume. The date of this report, the 28th of October 2025, is important too. It gives us the most up-to-date picture of the company's performance based on the information they are releasing. This is fresh data that investors and analysts will be poring over to make their decisions about the company's future. Now, looking at the broader picture for Olympic Steel Incorporated, we need to understand what they do. They are in the business of steel processing and distribution. This means they buy steel from manufacturers and then process it, often cutting it to size or performing other operations before selling it to various industries like construction, automotive, and manufacturing. So their performance is closely tied to the health of these larger economic sectors. If construction is booming, they likely do well. If manufacturing slows down, they can feel the pinch. So what is the story here? Olympic Steel Incorporated is reporting its third quarter results. We know from the filing that these results are in a press release. This press release will contain the dollar figures and percentages investors care about. We will be looking for growth or decline in their sales and profits. We want to see if they are managing their costs effectively and if they are gaining market share or losing it. The stock ticker ZEUS on Nasdaq tells us the market is actively trading their shares, which means investor sentiment is constantly being updated based on news like this earnings report. In essence, this 8K filing is just the messenger pointing us to the actual financial news delivered by Olympic Steel Incorporated. The real analysis begins when we dig into that press release to understand the dollars and cents behind their operations for the third quarter of 2025. Alright, here is my take on this. This filing itself is pretty standard. It is a notification that financial results have been released. What really matters is the content of that press release they are referencing. Without seeing those numbers, we have to assume they are either good enough to warrant immediate positive attention, or perhaps not so strong that they'd hide them away. However, the fact that they are putting this out on the established date suggests they are meeting their reporting obligations. The key things to look out for in that press release we mentioned would be revenue growth or contraction. Are they selling more steel or less? How about profitability? Are their profit margins expanding or shrinking? Is the cost of steel impacting their bottom line significantly? And crucially for a company like this, what is the demand like from their major customer industries? Things like construction and automotive can be huge drivers or drags on their performance. We also want to see if there are any mentions of strategic initiatives. Are they investing in new equipment, expanding their facilities, or perhaps looking at acquisitions? These can be signs of future growth. Conversely, are there any mentions of divestitures or cost-cutting measures which might indicate they are navigating a tougher economic climate? For Olympic Steel Incorporated, the steel industry can be volatile. Global supply and demand plays a huge role, as do international trade policies and tariffs. So while they report their numbers, we need to keep in mind the broader economic context. A strong quarter in a booming economy is different from a strong quarter in a struggling market. My assessment is that we need to read that press release very carefully. If revenue is up and profit margins are stable or improving, that's a solid sign. If those numbers are heading south, then we're looking at potential headwinds for the company. Risks for Olympic Steel Incorporated likely include fluctuations in raw material prices, the cyclical nature of the industries they serve, and intense competition from other steel processors and international suppliers. Opportunities could lie in expanding into new markets or developing specialized steel products that command higher prices. Ultimately, the story embedded in this 8K is incomplete without the press release, but this filing serves as a crucial timestamp and an official acknowledgement of their financial update. It's the first step in understanding how Olympic Steel Incorporated is performing and where it might be headed. So what is your take on their latest financial update? Are you optimistic about Olympic Steel Incorporated's direction, or do you see challenges ahead? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more corporate dives. Don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Corporate Decoder.